In the last decade, with comic book content suddenly becoming mainstream, there has been a surge in comic book television shows out there. So much so that no matter how hard you try, you can't possibly watch all of them. Some of them, even though they are received well, end up getting cancelled. One cancelled show in particular is what we're gonna talk about today. My name is Joshua C, and today I want to tell you guys what makes The Tick not just a good TV show, but a comic book television series that stands out from the rest in the best way possible. But first of all, I'm pretty sure all of you guys are asking the same question. Who's The Tick again? The Tick, created by Ben Edlund, first appeared as a mascot for his comic book store's newsletter. The character then became popular enough to have his own title, and his first series is one of the most iconic comic books of all time. The 12-issue series, later turned into a 13-issue black and white comic book series, ran from 1988 to 1992, and it has aged shockingly well. Actually, reading it today, you might find it even more enjoyable than reading it when it first came out. And this is because it's a parody of the superhero genre. And with the genre gaining so much popularity over the years, this comic is more accessible than ever. The comics were centered on the Tick, a naive, invulnerable 7-foot superhero, and his sidekick, Arthur, a chubby accountant with mental issues and a taste for excitement, going on silly and wacky comic book adventures that act as a parody and celebration of the superhero genre. And I love it. The comics use our knowledge of comic tropes as opportunities for comedy. In The Tick issue 11, The Tick and Arthur go to New York City, and there are so many superheroes in the city that when an actual enemy appears 2 issues later, one of the superheroes remarks, "I've never seen a supervillain," with another exclaiming, "Thank you, God." The Tick comics also made fun of the collateral damage that superheroes inflict on structures when fighting against villains, the use of the adjective invulnerable, when in reality it's worse than being invulnerable, and my personal favorite, the way they make fun of how Americans turned ninjas into one-shot enemies for the heroes to flex their abilities on, instead of them actually being strong and cool. I know I didn't present the comedy of the Tick comics in this video very well, because I'm in no way a comedian. But if you had the time, I suggest you go read them, because it's really enjoyable, and I think you would probably have fun reading the comic. But let's stop talking about the comics and start talking about the show, and why I think it's so special. The biggest thing about this show that makes it unique is that, like the comics, it's partly a comedy, and I'm happy it still plays a big part in the show. What I'm even more happy about is the quality of the comedy. It genuinely makes me laugh, and not many shows can do that. It works because it's very smart and self-aware, and it's also written by the same guy who wrote the comics, Ben Edlund. Even after so many years, the fact that he's still a big part of Tick media shows that he cares about the character. And I think the show really benefited from him being there, especially when it came to the comedy.
This window's closed, ne'er-do-wellers. No withdrawals today.
What the hell is this? Give us our money.
I want to. I'm trying.
Shoot this clown.
Ow, what the man?
How could I have possibly predicted that?
The entire block! And the city!
Wait, come back. I have your money. It is here.
A big part of the amazing comedy in the show is the eccentric cast of characters that make the comedy feel organic. It's very natural, and that's why even if it doesn't amuse you, it doesn't fail or become cringy, because the comedy is rooted in character. A really good scene that demonstrates comedy that's rooted in character is in the last scene in episode 6. Arthur gets captured by the Terror, and before the Terror is about to scare him, the Terror actually tells Alexa to play ominous music.
Alexa, play ominous music.
Shuffling a playlist for ominous music.
And it's something that definitely lightens up the mood. It makes us laugh, but most importantly, that's the way that the Terror wants to do things. He likes theatrics. And so even when Arthur later finds out his plan, his reaction is...
Oh my god. It's the stupidest plan I've ever heard.
It's mad science.
Oh, it's stupid science.
The comedy also doesn't really come at the cost of losing tension in scenes or ruining very emotional moments. The show knows when and to what degree comedy should be implemented. Look at this scene from the same episode we talked about earlier. Arthur and the Tick are trying to save a bus that's about to fall. It's one of the most heroic, epic, and tense moments in the show. Adding a comedic scene here wouldn't just make the moment have less weight, but it would probably be an out-of-character moment for the two. I mean, they're trying to save lives. It's not time to make jokes. But instead, the comedy comes after. When Arthur thinks everyone in the bus is saved, a woman says that she left her baby on the bus. Arthur almost dies, trying to save the infant. But then we realize, after he gets out of the bus, it's not a baby, it's a dog.
What a beautiful child.
Pretty sure that's a dog, Tick.
Right.
Save the dog!
The comedy in the show really works because it's natural, and it's timed very well. The comedy is also surprisingly smart, and in many ways subtle. For example, the escape pod of Terror's ship, which is shaped like a capital letter T, is shaped like a lowercase t, which is just brilliant. There are also a lot of minor but comedic details in the show that are just a delight to watch. Heck, just the name of certain things makes scenes funnier.
Where is the Terror?
In your heart. It's in the heart of every man.
Not terror, the terror.
Yeah, sure. He's holed up under the Sacred Mother of Infinite Misery Church.
Sacred Mother of Infinite Misery.
Got it.
Even the designs of the characters, like tinfoil Kevin's hat, Sage's third magical nipple, and Edgelord's super edgy costume, make them way more hilarious and interesting. But not all the comedy comes directly from characters and subtle details. It also comes from what made the Tick so special: comic book humor. Especially today, with the oversaturation of superheroes in media, the Tick is something that I think people who consume even just a few superhero media can enjoy. A good amount of the jokes stem from parodies of comic book tropes. Again, they're just spectacular. They address the fact that superheroes without armor on the face should actually be vulnerable in that area.
Tick! But your bullets won't pierce his valiant heart, the Terror. Oh, but the face! Chum, he knows your weakness!
A superhero's possible reaction facing the toxicity of social media.
Down. It's a thumbs down.
Social media is a cesspool. Here.
And is it unlike or not like? Because whichever one it is, it means someone somewhere is actively disliking me. And Larry, they're doing it everywhere.
We got people on that.
And my absolute favorite joke in the series, the fact that a lot of superheroes oddly find information about their enemies at the docks.
First step, it's always go to the docks.
Go to the docks?
The docks. There is literally always some guy at the docks that knows something.
Handy.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do we know which person to squeeze?
Well, he'll have a look on his mug, you know? And then when he sees your look, all of a sudden he'll have a different look. Then he'll start running.
Just superheroes following up on a crime spree, so nothing to worry about. Tick. Look.
I'm on it, Chuck.
In conclusion, the comedy is just top-notch, except like this one ultra cringy joke where there's weird dancing. Another thing that makes the comedy here very interesting is that it doesn't involve a lot of people hurting one another. You might not really notice, but a lot of jokes in television and film feature not very moral people hurting each other, whether emotionally or physically. I'm not saying that these are bad, because I mean, I enjoy Tom and Jerry, I watched all seasons of The Big Bang Theory, and I really love adult animation, which heavily features characters hurting each other. It's just that I think that route in comedy is so much easier. Having a comedy feature kind and good people is a rarity, and is especially hard to execute. So it's kind of shocking how good the comedy is here. And it's really nice to have such a wholesome cast of characters. Speaking of wholesome characters, let's go to the next point on why I think this show is unique. The positive and actual good role models.
I tell my grandson to be more like you.
What?
You're willing to throw your life away to help others.
That's...
One thing that I noticed right off the bat is that the Tick and Arthur are real heroes. Not just in the sense that they fight crime, but also in the way that they treat others. Through the Tick and Arthur's interactions with the plethora of side characters, we really get to see their humanity. It reminded me there's more to a good superhero than just, you know. Being a good superhero is also about being a friend to others, and being kind and compassionate to those around you. From Arthur and the Tick's interactions with Goat and Uma in the first season, to Flexon, Bronze-Star, Sage, and Lobcercules in the second, you can really sense that they care for the people around them. There's this sense of community between the characters of the show that I really can't find elsewhere in comic book television. These side characters, which were probably put in the show for comedic purposes, ended up highlighting how kind and good the Tick and Arthur are, with superheroes in adaptations lately becoming darker and more in the moral gray area. It's kind of refreshing to see a comic book superhero, not just as entertainment, but as an inspiration to us as people. As weird as most of the characters are in the Tick, they just have this positivity emanating from them that reflects the likes of Superman. Superheroes are not just about beating the bad guy, it's also about being good to those around you. Another thing that makes the show stand out to me is how bold and different the show is. It's a very interesting take on the comic book world, and it's not afraid to be just that. Killing in the world of the Tick is never the solution. This is evident by my favorite scene in the whole show, which surrounds Danger Boat, a sentient boat traumatized by his past. In this scene, the Tick reminds him of his past, and it triggers him emotionally, and he goes into lockdown. He glitches and the timer starts, signaling the elimination of everything within the boat, including our main characters. At first, it seemed like their only option was to eliminate the sentient boat.
It's glowing.
Overkill, what is that thing?
It's Danger Boat's spinal cord. Dot, you're gonna need to cut it. Wrap the cord around the blade.
Kill your boat.
It's him or us, Dot.
But just as the timer is about to run out, Arthur tries something
Sorry,
bold.
buddy.
Wait, Dad, no, hold on, let me try something. Just give me a minute, okay, give me a minute. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just want to say that I'm really sorry about what happened to Michael. Sounds like he was a great guy. And I know how much it hurts to lose someone you love that much. Pain so intense that it actually changes you. Yeah, and people say, you know, they say that it gets better in time, that it goes away, but that's not true. Not really. I mean, it might fade some, but it never really goes away. I still miss my dad every day. You know, I think that's okay.
Arthur?
Yeah, buddy, hey, I'm right here.
Michael was my everything. When he died, I shut myself down. Didn't let anyone in. Protected my heart. Until I met you. Arthur, can I tell you something?
Yeah, Danger, you can tell me anything.
I love you.
I know you do.
It's these kind of scenes that make The Tick unlike any other comic book show I've seen. Its boldness to be positive and be in a world where killing is never the answer, secret identities are a waste of time, and where even the most terrible people can change is something that kind of amazes me. I mean, I'm not saying that The Tick's world is right or wrong. It's just very different to most comic book worlds. And I'm happy these unique rules and certain views are present, because it really makes the show more interesting. There is so much more to talk about, but I don't really have a lot more solid points to say. Almost every aspect of the show is perfect, especially the casting. Peter Serafinowicz and Griffin Newman are basically perfect for their role. But after the second season didn't perform very well, the show was cancelled by Amazon Prime. It's a real shame, and I definitely want more. Hashtag Save the Tick, hashtag Lunatic Army. But even if the show never gets renewed, it's probably not gonna get renewed, I think we should still be thankful, because at least we got 2 seasons of the underrated masterpiece that is The Tick.
Ready for the next adventure, chum?
Ready, Tick.
Anyway, that is all for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe and tap the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new one. My name is Josh C, and I will see you in the next comic book video. Well, it's not gonna be a comic book video, but it's gonna be a good one. So stay tuned for that, and I'm gonna do something weird on camera right now. I'm gonna try Flaming Hot Cheetos for the first time to celebrate that I've finally recorded this video. I've never tried this before. I suck. Why do people review? I can't. Ugh. I don't know, I have to talk about food. It's pretty good though.